Larry, so good to see you. Today, we are going to lay out 5 signs that you are ready to retire early. As many as 54% of young or early retirees in Gen X report that they are considering unretiring. Their reasons for returning to work are both economic and emotional, according to a recent study from F&G Annuities and Life. So, before you retire early, you do need to consider whether you meet these milestones. First, you are debt free. Now, does this include your mortgage?
Yeah, Aaron, for me, that really depends on a lot of factors. I mean, you certainly want to get rid of all your high interest debt that you have,
Yeah.
but in mortgage, if you have a great rate on there and you have a hefty brokerage account, I mean, I probably wouldn't pay off my mortgage if I had a very good rate on it.
hmm So next, you mentioned a brokerage account. This brings us to number 2. If you are retiring early, you don't want to tap your retirement accounts just yet. So having multiple income sources becomes even more important.
Absolutely. You have to have a pretty robust brokerage account and maybe some tax-free products as well, maybe some
Mhm.
Roth that you've had in the past that has met some of those contribution rules that you have that we talked about previously, that you can tap into that as well. So very important to have that, and maybe be even some time to do some planning based on your age to convert some of those retirement accounts before you get there.
Mhm. And then when you are ready to tap them, you also want strong retirement savings. And prior to retiring, that means taking advantage of all those catch up contributions.
Absolutely. Again, those last few years, you can really, make some extra. If you're already planning, to take that early retirement, you most likely have already saved a lot in a brokerage account, prepared in the savings and so forth. But having that extra cash flow to really put that in there and let that start growing for you while you're waiting is very, very, very important.
hmm And then number 4, this is maybe the trickiest. Make sure that you have a plan and savings for healthcare. What are a few options?
Yeah, a few options is kind of a phased retirement. Some people, they have that decision they're going to go, but they better have an idea of what they want to do both socially as well. They got a lot of extra free time for themselves, but on healthcare, they could be very expensive through the Affordable Care Act, or maybe do something like a Medishare or something like that. Some
Mhm.
folks will maybe have a part-time job that will pay for that, just for the insurance, just for that very reason to kind of
Right.
phase in.
Yes. So 1 through 4, those were all financial. And you just touched on the 5th here. This is emotional. More than 40% of early retirees said they miss the challenge and stimulation of work in their daily lives. That's according to F&G Annuities. So before you retire early, you need to know how you're going to create that challenge outside the workplace, including strong social connections, daily structure, and a sense of purpose.
Aaron, I've been doing this almost 20 years, and that's probably the biggest thing that I see each and every
Yeah.
year. Is I have some people that have maybe a job that forces them to retire,
Mhm.
an airline pilot or something, that are not quite ready emotionally, and so they really struggle for 6 months or a year. I have others that are ready at 50. They're just looking for that day. So it's very important to have those connections and have some plans, some sense of belonging, like you said. It's because it generally takes them about a year to really get into the groove if they're not emotionally ready. So very important to decide what you want to do and have some of those social connections, like you mentioned.
Right. Retiring early is a whole different animal. And keeping in mind that retiring early is going to extend your retirement, which makes the planning part so much more important. So, Larry, if somebody would like to sit down with you, crunch the numbers, and see if they are ready to retire early, what's the best way to reach you?
They can call our office, Aaron, at 615-216-1048, or go to our website, sfawealth.com, and schedule a meeting there.
Right. Larry, thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.